So this is where we left off, and next thing I want to do is finish surfacing Jack. And let me just remove that anti-aliasing and lower our resolution a little bit. So I'm just going to see what is connected with this black surface. And wasn't really clear with it, so just a quick jump in modeler is going to allow us to see. Select the black surface, and we see that it's just knuckles of the hand. Want to add just a little specularity to that surface. Put diffuse at 80, and it's really, I mean, it's such tiny surface. But anyway, go back into layout, and it's going to be updated. We see here, and the black face is basically black, and I'm gonna add a little bit of specular to it. And just to see the results that we're getting here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to Jack's head. And we see a little bit of specularity there and the blackness of the eyes. I'm going to leave that like that for now. And now Jack's body. Again, just want to see, we can see clearly which surface is affected with this. So it's up to the neck, back to pure white. And I'm just kind of looking at the reference images just to see what kind of specularity do we have on Jack's body. And it's not so strong, and it's not so focused. And again, you can go wrong if you add a little bit of alpha on the incidence angle for the body, which we are going to do also here. And just kind of seeing which should be where for the incidence angle. Honestly, I can never remember, you know, is it the top key for the middle of or the bottom key for the middle, the top key for the edge, or so always have to kind of check it out to see what alpha is affecting. And going to render it out just to see what we're getting there. And yeah, maybe to add just a little bit irregularity to the specularity, just a little bit. And it's barely noticeable, you know, really, but it's these little changes, these little things. But I'm not going to fiddle around it too much. I just like to add a little bit, you know, just so it's not perfectly white and everything is even out perfectly, you know. And once we make these changes throughout our model, it adds up to a really nice render. And I'm thinking maybe to add just a little touch of reflection, you know, really a little bit of reflection. On the edges of the incidence angle. I'm going to put, you know, like a really low value for reflection, from 10% to 0. Probably won't even notice it, but you know, we can have a tiny reflection to it anyway. And now we come to the bow tie, and this should have some specularity and some glossiness, and I'm going to take my time with this surface because I'm going to apply this surface to the rest of Jack's suit. That means his arms, his jacket body, the collar, the legs, and all of those surfaces. So just going to take my time to get where I want to be getting with this. And with specularity, you're kind of getting a little bit more definition, what is, bending and stuff like that, especially with black surfaces. So you want to keep glossiness lower, so you get a bit more wider specular spot. And also adding a little bit of discoloration to Jack's suit. We don't want everything to be perfect 0, 0, 0 black and perfect 255, 255, 255 white. And I'm deliberately putting this into a brighter color like red just to see how my turbulence is affecting the surface. So while you are adjusting the settings of turbulence or whatever procedural texture you'll be using, it's always a good practice just to use some really bright color, and you get a nice idea of how this procedural texture is affecting your surface. And basically what I'm attempting to achieve here is a little bit of wear and tear to this. Just a little bit of spots, and trying to remove the perfectness from this surface, just as we did so many times before in this tutorial. And again, you see, this process of trial and error, just putting the surface quick render and adjusting the settings a little bit, and adding Crumple here as an alpha just to see what I'm trying to do is break up these white lines a little bit more. Right now they're really too perfect for my taste. So I'm adding different procedural textures here as alpha and as color, just to achieve that effect that I want. And let me just speed that up for you a little bit more. Basically, it's just a lot of testing different procedural textures, how they affect the surface, until I find one that I'm happy with, that just gives me that perfect amount of grittiness to our lines. And as you can see here, I added dented. That really broke things up, but broke them up a little bit too much. So wasn't really happy with that, but I knew that's the right direction I wanted to go. So I'm just fiddling around a little bit with this dented texture and playing with the settings, adding some turbulence alpha over it to kind of dampen the effect that it's having. And after a few adjustments here and there, finally got a result that I was happy with. And yeah, it looked perfect. And I was happy with that surface, and I wanted to just use it for all the other surfaces of Jack's jacket. Now before that, just a quick surfacing of the button. Nothing much to it, just kind of classical stuff. Basically, I always put diffuse at 80%. 100% is just a bit too bright at 99% of the cases. So you'll never go wrong if you just put it at 80%. And added some specularity and added some glossiness to it just to unflatten it a little bit. Right now it's right in the shadow, so it does look a little bit flat. I also added a bit of specularity there. And the next thing I wanted to work on is the cat surface. And it's all about playing with the specularity for this one as well, because it's basically just black. And specularity really brings out the shape, brings out the form, the curves. So here also, glossiness is kept low, under 50%, definitely. And I wanted to add just a little bit of bump there as well, so that that the surface isn't perfectly smooth, like really buffed. And just playing with the scale here for turbulence, and lowering the opacity. I wanted to get like a subtle effect of it, just so that specularity gets a little bit broken up, so it doesn't look completely buffed. Now all of these changes are really small. You cannot say it's a big change. But as I said already, I feel that all of these small changes add up to a big change at the end, making the image look that much better. And just trying to get this effect of a little imperfectness in the surface. Same thing with the cat eyes. And one thing I wanted to add is just a little color variation to the eye, so that it's not just white, white, white. Just a little bit of dirt, a little bit of, I don't know, weathered out, something. And I'm starting from stronger values just to see what I'm getting. And also here, turned it into red to see how much it affects the surface. And I want it to be subtle, but still I want it to be there, lowering the contrast a little bit more. And I find that fractal noise is a good procedural texture to add some subtle variation to the surface. While turbulence is good to add, a bit sharper discolorations. And those are, other than dented and maybe puffy clouds, one of my favorite procedural textures. Fractal noise, I use it a lot, and turbulence as well. And going on to the body, right now I feel that it was kind of too white, too bright, so lower that value of the white a little bit down, and pasting the same surface to the hands as well. Now it's just kind of a dance between these two surfaces, because I want them to be the same. And now going to the jacket body. And as far as jacket body goes, just going to basically copy the bow tie surface and paste it to the jacket body, being mindful that, of course, I don't overwrite the color, which should have the jacket body's UV and jacket body's texture. So I'll just remove it in the bow tie UV color layer and leaving just a jacket body. And quick render to see what we're getting there. and it's always good to kind of take a step back, see how everything looks in the bigger scale of things. And we wanted to save all objects here. Have to stop here because had to go to the dentist, unfortunately. So this is the spot where I saved what we did so far. And make sure that you save your scene and save your objects as well. And just to be on the safe side, wanted to save the bow tie surface as well. And wanted to again save the tombstone 01. This is 02 and tombstone 01. And I'm kind of on the safe side when these things are considered. Going to end this session here, and in the next session we're going to continue surfacing Jack.